Welcome to this Microsoft Build session. My name is Riddhi Amiser, and I'll be walking you through the Windows IoT Enterprise security story. As a program manager on the Windows IoT team, I'm very excited to showcase and highlight the Windows IoT Enterprise security story, as there are many different complexities that come with putting together an IoT security strategy. Today, we'll be walking through the overview of Microsoft's security portfolio and how you can better develop the security posture for your Windows IoT devices. We will review Microsoft's commitment towards security, a framework that I would like for us to review as we examine the various security offerings of the Windows IoT portfolio, and we'll also end with how to build a secure device. So let's get to it. In a recent study conducted by our Azure IoT team, security was shown to be a top-of-mind concern for Microsoft IoT users. In today's presentation, we will cover the top 3 security considerations, which is network-level security, securing endpoints, and the management of IoT devices. All of this can be addressed when crafting a Windows IoT security strategy. Here are some additional challenges that IoT device builders are facing when it comes to creating a comprehensive security story. This is increase of attacks, the complex regulation related to security, and the gaps in IoT security today. Feel free to check out the stories and the studies to understand and learn more. Again, you all know that IoT attacks put businesses at risk. This may come in many shapes and forms, along with the impacts and the intrinsic cost of IoT security hacking. So to combat this, Windows IoT gives customers a commitment to our security. Our 4 commandments are listed here. The first is Windows IoT devices are built with security in mind. We have endpoint security to protect your data at rest, in motion, and during execution. And security is not just the way of your development and deployment and operation, but it is an important part of it. And lastly, security provides the foundation for your device and the growth of your overall business strategy. Here's a quote from our CEO, again, reinstating that security is a top of mind for Microsoft and across all divisions, and even IoT, as we'll be discussing today. So as I mentioned, we have a lot to cover here today, and there's a lot of different levels of familiarity with security offerings, especially for Windows IoT. So the purpose of this presentation is to give you the lay of the land. So we're going to walk through a quick metaphor that may help set the context into the various styles of security that could be configured. So when you decide to build your Windows IoT device, you're going to be given a foundation. And this is because when you build with Windows IoT, you're able to have 4 walls, a roof, and really a strategy that comes with using the client base of Windows, as Windows IoT Enterprise is a binary equivalent. Compared to other IoT OSs, you're often the one who has to start from scratch and try to figure out where to begin and how your story could be executed in terms of security. The best part about building your IoT security story on top of the foundation of Windows is that you do have that starting point, that 4 walls and that roof. And that is the security that's included by default. And as your organization grows or your business needs change, you can scale up and down the various security offerings that you will need to secure your environment and devices. Security is a complex topic, and there is not a one-size-fits-all, but we hope that the sliding scale can show you how to find your balance. So as your business grows and you require more protection, and especially as the value of your assets increase, the ease of your use might go down as things do get a little bit more complicated. But again, that's going to require additional investment, and it's a spectrum, as again, there is no one-size-fits-all. So a small business may not need the same security posture as a multinational bank when it comes to their IoT devices, but in this presentation, we will showcase what you can do to achieve these different scenarios and what those configurations are. So let's get into it. Today, we'll be reviewing the security offerings that are available for both IoT Enterprise for Windows 10 as well as for Windows 11. This is our IoT Enterprise security stack. In this presentation, we'll be reviewing what is offered in each layer of the stack. So if this looks familiar to you, that's incredible. I hope that means that you read the Windows 11 security book. And we're able to go ahead and use that framework, but then tailor it to now tell the Windows IoT Enterprise story. Starting from the bottom, we are built on a secure foundation. Windows IoT Enterprise is a binary equivalent of Windows Enterprise, and our OS is in compliance with the industry's most rigorous policies and procedures to ensure that the device is secure from the get-go. We have Microsoft Security Response Center, which is a 24/7, 365 days a year operational facility that is on the front lines ensuring our devices are protected. Windows IoT Enterprise is also certified for industry practice, and they have additional guides and resources to be protected for government and DoD use. Lastly, we have a secure supply chain, which is also in compliance with the latest cybersecurity executive order put out by the Biden administration. Shifting gears as we move up the stack, we have a hardware story that is based upon the hardware root of trust and silicon-assisted security. And that really comes down to what processors and hardware you've selected for your Windows IoT devices. Windows IoT has a hardware root of trust that will protect and maintain the integrity of the system. Part of this story is TPM 2.0, which we will cover in subsequent slides, and having an advanced processor that has built-in security. One example of this advanced processor is a Microsoft Pluton security processor, and we highly recommend that you go check that out. Here's also a quick cheat sheet on the hardware requirements that Windows IoT Enterprise has for its device builders. We have a list of processors, specifically x64 and ARM64. We have RAM minimum requirements of 2 GB. We also have a minimum storage requirement of 16 GB or larger. Our system firmware is UEFI-based, but is also secure boot capable. A TPM is not required, but recommended on Windows 10 IoT Enterprise. We also require that devices have a graphics card if they support accelerated graphics. However, we also do support headless devices. Now, if we look at silicon-assisted security, you're going to be able to have additional features that are built in if you decide to move forward with an advanced processor. And this means secured kernel, identity protection, firmware protection, as well as direct memory access and memory protection. We also have a new program called Edge SecuredCore that runs through the Azure Certified Device Program. And by having these devices Azure certified, you're able to go ahead and market these devices as having those additional security configurations enabled, basically highlighting your investments to achieve this top tier level of security. So if you're interested in learning more about Edge SecuredCore, here's a link to the requirements. And the program is actually set to be going GA later this spring, and actually has requirements that showcase how you can go ahead and configure your device to be compliant with this program. Now, the next layer is the OS layer. And this is made up of the encryption and data protection, network security, virus and threat protection, as well as system security. This is truly where the power of being a binary equivalent to the Windows client comes to life for your IoT devices. For IoT devices, BitLocker is the key to providing an additional level of encryption and data protection. BitLocker offers drive encryption, which mitigates threats if a device were to be stolen or lost, and always has an encrypted hard drive protection available that can keep your devices safe while in use. Next is network security. Windows 11 uses the newest network protocol versions for X509 and TLS-based handshake and encryption. Additional safeguards for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi protection are also a part of this. IoT devices are available to go ahead and use VPN if desired, and you can enable Windows Defender firewall policies to protect your network and your gateways. The next piece of this is the virus and threat protection, and this is where Microsoft shines. We have a lot of different offerings in this space, which are equivalent to our key players in the industry today, such as preventing malware, protecting your networks, detecting and investigating to advanced threats, as well as protecting your device at every layer. In addition, we also recommend that you apply attack surface reduction rules to go ahead and ensure a lockdown experience for your Windows IoT devices. And the final piece of the OS strategy is your system security. This is where having the advanced hardware will really give you a leg up on the OS, and the hardware can work together to keep the system in check. You can run Trusted Boot, which is a combination of secure boot and measured boot, to ensure that there's no unauthorized code running in the firmware. The cryptography stack is there to ensure that your system and your user secrets are protected, ensuring your certificates are validated and signed. The kernel code is properly signed and untampered with so it can run properly in this piece of your OS. All of this leads to ensuring that you have an active device health attestation story, and that is the core to having an OS strategy for your IoT security story. And this brings us to our application layer. For IoT specifically, we advocate for really two things. The first is that you use WDAC, which is Windows Defender Application Control, to ensure the right applications are running on your device and anything else is not around. And the second piece is to go ahead and ensure that you're running UWP secure applications. Your applications and your drivers should be signed and secure always, and your WDAC policies will go ahead and ensure that that is the case. So here's a quick overview of what WDAC is, or as I keep referencing, which is called Windows Defender Application Guard. And this is really a must-have for all Windows IoT Enterprise devices, and this is our top recommendation when it comes to ensuring that your IoT devices are safe. Our team has developed scripts and templates that can help you start this process on your devices if you're not already using WDAC, and that can easily be found in our documentation today. We are now jumping into identity and privacy, which may or may not be applicable to your IoT scenario. Secured identity is the first piece of this, which includes a whole host of solutions to go ahead and build secure devices. This includes your multi-factor authentication, having single sign-on to your apps, potentially using biometric data, which is protected by your hardware-backed security, and protecting different types of keys, specifically if they're USB biometric keys, NFC, and as well as BLE. And here are some of those options for what that identity-based security looks like. This is also passwordless authentication. So we have the USB NFC key, NFC and BLE, as well as a USB biometric key, which could be applicable to your IoT devices if there is a user component attached to it. And the next level is privacy, and really ensuring that the data that goes through the privacy stack is protected at every turn. We really want to control which applications and features can actually use the data that the user is putting in. We also want to control access to resources like the microphone and the camera, as well as view which applications are using or have last used these resources. Tooltips and prominent systems, such as like your icon tray, will go ahead and inform users when these resources are in use, and we want to ensure that those are enabled if an IoT solution requires a camera or a microphone. All of these policies are built in to the application control for privacy as you continue to build solutions that may require such. Now this brings us to our cloud overview, and this is the last piece of our security stack. You can think of it as almost the cherry on top, as it provides value to everything below it. But hey, no one just wants a cherry for dessert. Cloud offerings today are a part of our security complement to everything that's already in the stack below it. In this presentation, we're going to focus on two aspects of this. The first being modern device management, as well as an Azure service that I'm sure many of us are familiar with, Azure Active Directory. In the cloud management story, we have the management of your devices, and part of this could be done online and the other half could be done offline. So if you decide to focus on OS updates online, you have two options. The first is using our service Device Update Center, which is currently a preview program, but we also have Windows Update, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with, that is baked into the Windows operating system itself. If you decide to follow an offline update scenario, you have many options here as well. The first being WSUS, or Windows Server Update Service. You have the SneakerNet, as everyone likes to call it, which is your USB image update. So you go ahead and load your update to your USB and then go ahead and plug it into the device when you're ready for it to update. And then also another preview program, which is called Microsoft Connected Cache, which we're excited to use for IoT devices shortly. We also have a different type of IT management style, which is you can go ahead and use things that may be familiar in an office environment, such as Intune or other third-party MDM solutions. And this is, again, more IT-based, as this is something that other devices outside of the IoT space may use. We also use Microsoft Endpoint Manager, or formerly called SCCM, which could then go ahead and be used in an offline scenario as well. As I mentioned, we have a lot more cloud offerings and solutions coming our way. The first being Azure Arc, which is soon coming for client, which will then also be able to be used on IoT, as well as, some other offerings that you may be hearing about as we continue with these build sessions. In terms of offline, well, there isn't really anything for the cloud at the moment, as you have to be connected to use the cloud, but we'll keep you posted if anything changes for IoT. And now, as we walk into the overall piece of just Windows, we want to focus on the Windows security baseline. Again, being a binary equivalent of the Windows client, the Windows security baseline brings us a lot of extra support that you can go ahead and actually secure and tailor for your devices. This is incredibly comprehensive. I'm talking about hundreds of different policies that you can go ahead and implement and take a look at. There are some quick links that can help you navigate the controls which are appropriated for your IoT device and IoT scenario. We have many IoT customers who blindly apply these policies and others that take a piecemeal approach. But again, by building on top of the Windows IoT platform, you're getting a framework of these policies that we can weave through the stack to ensure that you're maximizing what Windows can offer you today. So this is our whole stack, and thank you for bearing with me as I walk through each of the capabilities that are unlocked at every level. Now, I want to go back to our initial lens or framework metaphor that we talked about at the beginning of this presentation. How can we model these offerings to what is appropriate for certain devices or certain types of scenarios? Well, we're going to talk about the capabilities that are built in from the get-go. This is our four walls and our roof, and really the basic configurations that come with your IoT device if you decide to build on top of the Windows IoT platform. Our recommendations here are to go ahead and follow the system requirements that are provided to you and accept the default configurations from the get-go. Again, if you look at our stack, you can see all the various features that are enabled right at the beginning. The next piece of this is adding additional configurations for your standalone IoT scenario. Now, this is building on top of the basic configurations that we covered before, but now you're adding Windows Defender Application Control, or WDAC, as well as the Windows Security Baseline to your strategy. Now, these are additional configurations that you can do to go ahead and enhance your scenario, but it does take a little bit of legwork to set up and ensure that it is appropriate for your Windows IoT device. Now, going a step further, as your portfolio of devices gets larger, you might want to consider enterprise device management solutions. And this is very similar to the IT-style device management that we talked about prior. Now, this can include pieces of the Microsoft Endpoint Manager, such as SCCM or Intune, and as well as other pieces that come to managing your update scenario, such as Device Update Center or Windows Server Update Service, WSUS, which was covered on our management story. And again, as we continue to advance and enhance our overall strategy here, you can see that more features on the stack are being unlocked, and that's because as you continue to build your story, you're able to go ahead and add more comprehensive features, especially as you continue to invest in your security offerings for your portfolio. Which brings us to your Azure Connected solution. And again, some recommended services here are Azure Active Directory and Azure Arc, and there will be more as time goes on, especially as the Windows IoT devices continue to connect to the cloud. We have a lot more offerings that are coming that today are supported for Linux, but shortly should be offered for Windows, and we look forward to adding that portfolio and adding to our security story in that sense, as the cloud is starting to offer way more services that will help keep your devices secure from wherever you are. And now to throw the kitchen sink here and to really scale up your security, we really recommend that you go ahead and use some hardware and some additional leveling up of maybe the silicon that you have today, or going ahead and adding a TPM 2.0 to your devices. We really want to advertise to your customers that you're spending the extra investment in making sure that your devices are compliant and secure, in which case we recommend that you go ahead and check out the Edge SecuredCore program. These pieces are really what create a comprehensive story, and as you continue to invest and spend time on, perfecting your security story and really making it as easy to use for you, or potentially, have it as secure as possible, we really want you to think about all the various aspects that do get unlocked as you go through each level of the stack and understand, why would I want to use BitLocker versus why would I want to go ahead and actually, invest a little bit extra in my silicon. The idea is each time that you spend investing in your security, the better off you're going to be in the long run, because you are spending the time and energy to really curate and craft something, as well as take advantage of everything that the Windows IoT platform offers today. As always, this is a learning process, and securing IoT is going to be an ecosystem play. It's going to take our hardware manufacturers, our solution integrators, our solution deployers, as well as the operators to go ahead and work together to ensure that we are building towards a better IoT and a better secured IoT. And so from beginning to end, we really want to make sure that we're all dedicated and committed towards securing this posture. And if you're interested in learning more, we have a lot more talks today and for the next few days throughout Build that will talk about the various aspects of Windows IoT. We have a roadmap overview, which will showcase other features and other functionalities and capabilities that the Windows IoT platform offers, as well as other projects and investments that the team is currently making. Take a look if you're interested. We really hope to get your feedback. And I will close on some more resources and additional links that we'd love for you to go ahead and check out to ensure that your devices are secure and in a great state. And we again thank you for using the Windows IoT platform. Have a wonderful rest of your build. Thank you.